If it's happening in New York, New Jersey, or Long Island, hear about it with Joe Piscopo. Mornings, 6 to 10 on AM 970. The Answer.
Live from the smartwaytobuy.com studios.
Mr. Mike Gallagher on at 10 o'clock on AM 970, The Answer. Kind enough to join us live on the air now. Mike, good morning. How are you this morning?
From Las Vegas, the
man.
big SHOT Show. This is a big, big deal. I look forward to this every year. I'm just hanging out with friends from about 111 countries.
Wow.
This is the National Shooting Sports Foundation's big signature event, Joe. And it's not open to the public. It's a trade show. It's got everything you could imagine for sportsmen and sportswomen and hunters and the outdoors and tactical weapons and safes and this thing, the Sands, the Sands Expo and Convention Center that attaches the Venetian and the Palazzo is just filled with thousands and I've never seen an event like this that is so big and so concentrated from, like I said, people all over the world. And so I can't think of a better place when we talk often about this election, this improbable election. How about the Second Amendment, Joe? Notice how we don't talk often about how different things would be regarding the right to keep and bear arms.
Yeah, it's
had
true.
Trump not won. So big part of this. So I can't think of a better or I have to say safer place to be than the 40th anniversary of the annual Sportsman's or Sporting Hunters and Outdoor Trade Show. The SHOT Show on the Las Vegas Strip will be broadcasting from here today and tomorrow when I can pry myself away from the Wheel of Fortune game.
Oh, yeah, Wheel of Fortune game. You know what, Mike, do they have, are there like people up and about? It's so early out there now.
It is, yeah. Well, they worked all night to get this thing ready. It officially starts today, and so it was kind of fun. We were setting up. We've got our booth here and, our signage and the Mike Gallagher Show, and we're in a great spot. Scott Hoganson, who takes such great care of us every year. They've got us situated in a perfect location, and it's a radio row, which is always a tricky place to broadcast from because, of course, in addition to featuring the highlights from the SHOT Show and giving everybody kind of a, behind the curtain look at what all these great all these great products and guests have to offer, we got a ton of news on the political front, and we're not going to miss a beat. Major victory, when Trump supporters kind of hide their eyes and say, can I say I'm a Trump supporter? This is one of those days where you can proudly say, this is why the guy's the president. A huge win for the Trump administration, gigantic loss for the Democrats. I'm glad they did the right thing. Thank goodness they came to their senses. Chuck Schumer looked terrible on this. Nancy Pelosi looked terrible on this. And here's a guy who's never faced anything like a government shutdown before. He's got the media and the entire Democrat machine trying to get him to fail. And once again, Trump comes out on top. Now, isn't it funny how that keeps working, Joe? Have you noticed? I think you have.
Yeah.
I think you have.
I have. And then I mentioned it, and we talked to Neil on Fox Business yesterday, Neil Cavuto, and then Frank and I get tweets saying, oh, wow, you're too biased, you're too partisan, you're too Trump. I'm just saying the way it is, and we're very, very objective, and you are from day one. But you got to give credit, as we would. You give credit to someone else if they did it. The question is this, Mike Gallagher. Does Donald Trump, was he working the art of the deal behind the scenes?
Well, inevitably he was. But here's the other thing in being objective. This is 3 weeks. So we got a few more weeks to go. They got to deal with DACA. Trump insists on border security. I don't believe the Democrats want a wall. This baloney about we'll give you a wall. How high do you want it? Yeah, I believe that as far as you could throw that wall across the Rio Grande. I don't trust because, again, we look at the shutdown. That was all done in bad faith. And the reason I think Trump supporters and the president himself ought to take a victory lap is that this negotiation was done in bad faith. The Democrats voted against a bill they supported, and that is unconscionable. They voted against a bill they supported because they wanted to make sure they made the president try to look bad. I flipped on CNN for 2 minutes last night. What were they squawking about? Stormy Daniels or Stormy Weather, whatever her name is, the porn star. I mean, my gosh.
I know.
very serious conversation. Oh, there may have been a payoff here.
But Mike, you're a compassionate conservative, and I always liked the way you were balanced, even when I was on the other side. You were always like that, so I appreciate that. So I see the Mueller investigation, I see what it is. It's a witch hunt. We see that. So then of course they're going to go after the president with this gal and the payoff and how do they pay her off. Then now when the right comes back and says you have representatives in Congress want to release this memo, release the memo. You see the hashtag. I'm wondering, is that just a political witch hunt as well, or is there merit behind that, Mike?
Listen, there's no better person to speak to all of that than the great Cheryl Atkinson, who's going to join us this morning at 10:30, former CBS reporter, and she sort of really butted heads with the media establishment types because she's a very independent journalist. She's now the host of Sinclair's Full Measure. She's written a couple of New York Times bestsellers. She's right in the middle of this 4-page memo. How about the thousands of missing text messages? The FBI lost text messages. Come on. Who's buying the FBI lost text messages between these two key FBI officials who were right in the middle of this entire Hillary investigation, and you're going to try to convince the American people, oh, we lost them? We lost them? No one can lose text messages. They're all retrievable. You ever heard of the cloud? You kidding me?
Unless they bleach them or hammer them.
Yeah, bleach bit maybe, got some hammers out and took it out to Chappaqua, and they had a ceremony.
Where's that? Backyard. What happened with that? With Uranium One?
With nothing to see here. Move along.
Mike Gallagher at 10 o'clock. You do not want to miss this great broadcaster right there. And Mike, have a great time in Vegas. Give everybody our best, man. And then
I think of you every time I'm out here because what an entertainer you are and a showbiz legend, and it's fun. I always say this is one of my favorite places in the world. Not because I gamble too much or drink or smoke, but I love the atmosphere out here. So especially Joe after the massacre in October. This is Vegas strong. There's a spirit here in this town. People just, and this is an interesting backdrop after that horrible event. These are people here who defend and fight for the Second Amendment, the right to keep and bear arms, and I'm glad we're here. I'm glad we're celebrating the Second Amendment and reminding the world, what the Second Amendment and what a free America looks like. And so it's going to be a great couple of days, Joe.
You're a good man, Mike Gallagher. God bless you, brother.
Bless you.
See you soon, my friend. Travel safe. Mike Gallagher right there, live from Vegas, 10 o'clock on AM 970. The Answer, 8.
Everybody knows this guy. No, everybody knows he can do a radio show. Joe Piscopo. Mornings, 6 to 10 on AM 970. The Answer.